Welcome back to another episode of Play by Play presented by Win or Lose Sports. Please visit us online at winorlosesports.com and all social media at Win or Lose Show. Welcome to episode number 47. And this is the end of the regular season. Playoffs have started. And just a couple days ago, the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy have decided to part ways, whatever that means. It means that the Cowboys decided to fire Mike McCarthy, or Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys agreed that he is no longer the man for the job. I've been saying this since Mike McCarthy got to Dallas that he was not the man for the Dallas Cowboys job. Before I get into that and what is going to happen, what I think is going to happen with the coaching decision, and what I believe will be a good fit in Dallas, I want to talk about Troy Aikman and his comments on the Cowboys coaching job. Of course, Troy Aikman was a 12-year veteran for the Cowboys, starting quarterback, three-time Super Bowl winner. And he said that this job is no longer a coveted job. And I cannot disagree with that. I can't disagree with that because a coveted coaching position, a coveted coaching job is a job that every coach would want to be a part of, or want to experience, or want to take part in that, and want to get that position. And it's a job that that fits in the organization that's going to win championships. And I would say that about the Boston Celtics as a comparison. The Boston Celtics is a head coaching job, is a coveted head coaching job. The Lakers, I don't know about the Lakers now, but the Lakers franchise, that head coaching job will be a coveted position for somebody to have. The Cowboys is no longer in that range because the Cowboys, the organization has not put the head coaching job in a place to where somebody has to have that job, because they're not surrounding the head coach with a team of players, management, a general manager to make the team successful. And that is that is only Jerry Jones's fault. That this job is no longer a job that every head coach, every football coach wants. And hopefully, with the coming season and the hiring of this new head coach, will make this organization organization that other coaches are going to want to work for. And that is going to take quite a few things. That's going to take Jerry Jones realizing that he can't do it on his own. He cannot do it the way he's been doing it over the last 30 years. He has to find different ways to make this team successful. And you know, he said, "Well, we're one of the winningest franchises in the last 30 years." Okay, regular season wins don't matter anymore. We're talking about playoff wins. We're talking about winning the Super Bowl. Those are the wins that matters to fans, to the players on the field, to the Cowboys alumni. And it's the same way in college football. When you talk about the comparison of Ohio State and the way they lost to Michigan over the last 3 or 4 years and not capturing that victory in that rivalry game. That's the only win that matters to a lot of the alumni, to a lot of the players, to most of the players, a lot of the fans. That is the only win that matters. Winning a national championship is great, but winning that game against Michigan will make a lot of fans, a lot of players, a lot of alumni more happy than winning a national championship. So going back to the Cowboys, we're talking about hiring a new head coach, and Mike Zimmer, defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, former head coach for the Minnesota Vikings, would probably be in consideration. Not that he is the guy for the job. I don't think that he probably is, because I believe Mike Zimmer is just a different version of Mike McCarthy. Not a guy who holds people, accountable for their actions. Not a guy who's going to motivate the team like they need to be motivated. Not the guy who's going to discipline the team like they need to be disciplined. And that was what the Cowboys were missing with Mike McCarthy. Lack of motivation, lack of discipline, lack of accountability, not holding the guys accountable for their actions on the field. And, it's okay to have a coach that's happy for you, or speaks positive to you when you make mistakes. But it's also a good idea or a good trait in a coach to tell them what they're doing wrong and make sure that they're fixing the action of their wrongdoing and turning it into a 180 and going in the right direction. So I think that's what Deion brings to, talking about the next head coach, and hopefully it would be Deion Sanders having a conversation with Jerry Jones. Hopefully Deion or whoever this next coach is will bring that to the table. Deion, of course, is that guy in Colorado who is a motivator, who is a guy who holds his players accountable for their action and for their actions on the field and off the field. When you talk about the Colorado Buffaloes football team, who has an grade point average of 3.0 for the whole team, and that's never been done before. So him as a motivator, him as a head coach, him as a disciplinarian, that is what the Cowboys need. These aren't kids. These are grown men. So I know it's different. Yes, it's different. But grown men need discipline too. Grown men need structure too. That's what the Cowboys need. Someone with structure, not necessarily an X and O guy, because you can always put an X and O guy in there who's going to draw up the offensive plays, who's going to do the play calling. But they need a guy, a Mike Tomlin, a Deion Sanders type of guy, who's going to give them words that'll make the team mentally better, and motivate them to be physically better on the field. It's just it's sad. I'm sure the players are sad to see Mike McCarthy go, because he was a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He just wasn't the guy for the Cowboys head coaching job. And I'm sure they're going to be hurt. They've been around this guy for 5 years, with a 49-35 record, 12-win seasons. But you can't keep a guy around who's not going to get you to the point of your goals, which is winning a Super Bowl. You can't keep a guy around just because he's nice. You can't keep a guy around because the people like him. Sometimes you have a coach to where certain players might not like him, but that guy is the guy for the job, to get the job done. And we'll see what happens, but hopefully, at this point in time, that the Cowboys are looking for somebody, opposite of what Mike McCarthy brought to the table, opposite of what Jason Garrett brought to the table. We have the organization has to make the decision to get on the right track to winning playoff games, winning football games, winning the Super Bowl. If that's not the goal, then what are we doing? If that's not the goal, if the goal is not to win the Super Bowl, if the goal is not to win playoffs games, go deep in the playoffs, what are we doing? What are the Cowboys doing? What are you doing? What is your goal, Jerry? Is this to make money? Because every organization in football makes money. We want to win Super Bowl. We want to win playoff games. So that's what needs to, his mind, the mindset needs to be shifted. The culture needs to be shifted in Dallas in order for that to happen. And in order for the culture to shift, you need a new coaching job. You need a new coaching position. You need a head coach. You need a new head coach. In order for that to change, you need a new head coach. You need someone above the head coach that's going to have the same mentality as the head coach, so the right decisions can be made when it comes to bringing players in, because that's important too. Players have to have the same mindset as the coaching. If that's not going to happen, they're not going to be on the same page and they're not going to win games. We'll see what happens. But it's funny, you know, Mike. It's funny that when Mike McCarthy leaves, now players are, you know, posting and commenting and, you know, on their podcast, Michael Parsons, talking about, you know, how sad it is, how sad, you know, it's going to be without Mike McCarthy, because that's the only head coach he knew in pro football. But you got to be motivated to win games. They probably liked the guy because he was nice to him. Nice don't win football games. Being a nice guy is great and all, but nice is not going to win football games. You got to focus, bring your focus into the right direction. You know, we got to have somebody who's going to push us to the limit. Somebody who's going to expand our vocabulary when it comes to being motivated. So it's tons of things that needs to change in Dallas. Hopefully that'll happen with this new head coaching job. So talking about, I mentioned Ohio State earlier, and about, you know, the job of the head coach in Ohio State is to win the game against Michigan. And earlier this season, I talked about it. I talked about Ryan Day. Ryan Day needed to win this game in order to keep his job, because his job was on the line against Michigan, and he lost that game. So now what is the position of Ohio State when it comes to Ryan Day? Ryan Day now has a team in the national championship, which they play January 20th. What is the position of Ohio State? Is that still the case? Will Ryan Day secure his job with this win in the national championship? I don't know. Because as a fan, you get tired of losing to Michigan year after year after year. That is the biggest game of the year. If it's not the conference championship, that is the biggest game of the year. If it's not the national championship, that is the biggest game of the year. And when you have great players like Howard, Ibuka, Jeremiah Smith, Henderson, Trayvon Henderson, you have Judkins, you have all types of great players on defense, and Jack Sawyer, you got Williams. You have so many great players, offense, defense, special teams, and you can't win against a team who had a terrible season. Michigan had a terrible season, especially the first half of the season. It was terrible. And you can't get your team motivated to win that game. The play calling was terrible. You can blame Ryan Day. You can blame Chip Kelly. But the overall game plan for that Ohio State-Michigan game was terrible. Throw it out the window, because the team looked bad, the coaching looked bad, the players looked bad, but the players looked bad because they were given an assignment, and all they had to do was execute what the game plan that the coach and staff put out for them. So, you know, losing to Michigan, unexcusable, especially this year. But we'll see what happens after the national championship. If they win the national championship, I think that they should against Notre Dame. But if Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes don't win this game, I think it's a done deal for Ryan Day. If he does win it, I think it's still up in the air. It might have a sour taste in some people's mouth if he does get fired after winning the national championship. But I think something needs to change in Ohio State. Well, that's all I got for you today. So thanks for watching this episode of Play by Play. We'll see you next time.